My name is Neelam Sethi. Neelam in Hindi means sapphire. That was my mother's lucky stone, so she named me that. I was born in 1949, December, 2 years before India got its partition, its independence from the British. And my father was a doctor in the British Army, and my mother was a stay-at-home mom to me, my sister, and my brother. In 1970, I had just finished my college, and I met my husband for the first time. He was in New York City, and he came to America in 1964 after finishing medical school, and he was came to India to take a look at me and see if we would get married. And I turned 21 on the 5th of December. I met him on the 7th of December. We got engaged on the 17th of December. I got married on the 27th of December. I left India the 3rd of January. 3 days in Rome, 3 days in Paris, one night in New York City, and then off we flew to Salt Lake, where my husband was finishing his training in heart surgery. So from the moment I got engaged till I landed in Salt Lake City, I was so excited. I was flying high. I probably would not even have required a plane to fly. It was so exciting and beautiful. And then when I landed in Salt Lake, my husband, being a resident, had to work 36 hours at a stretch in the hospital. There were no cell phones, there were no pagers. So you left in the morning at 6, you spent the night, and you came home the next night. And at that time, when my husband would be gone, it was the first time that I realized I am in a foreign country with a relatively unknown man. I have just known him from the 27th till the 13th when I landed in Salt Lake, and he's gone every other night. And growing up in India, I was so overprotected. We never went out unchaperoned. I was always studying in an all-girls convent from kindergarten till senior Cambridge and my college. So it was very hard to even step out of the apartments we were living in. I was scared. Every day I would cry and cry and cry, but every alternate night when my husband came home, I was dressed up with my new saris and my jewelry like I'm going to a ball. And that was lovely. But I always stayed in the house. So about 10 days after getting to Salt Lake, it was winter, January, it gets dark early, and the doorbell rang. And I went to the door and I peeked through the magic eye that used to be in every door. And I saw a man standing with a gorgeous bouquet of flowers. And he kept ringing the bell, but I was watching what he's doing. I wouldn't open. I was scared. I didn't know anybody. So I waited. He went away. And a minute or two later, the phone rang, and I heard a voice. I answered, and this lovely British accent, a lady said, "There's somebody at your door. Would you please open it? He has something to give you." And I said, "I'm sorry, I'm just getting out of the shower. I cannot open the door. So have him leave it there and I will get it in a minute." So I was watching, of course I was in the shower, was watching, and he left the floral arrangement and he left. I waited for a little bit. I unchained the door, I unlocked it, I unbolted it, opened it, quickly dragged the arrangement in, again bolted, chained, locked, and then I saw it and I opened the card in it, and it moved me to tears because it was a note from the lady who called me, and she said that she and her husband, they were the managers of the apartment we were living in, and she said that they had just come 3 years ago from England, and they related to what I must be feeling in a foreign country as a new bride, and my husband keeping such long hours. And I was so touched by that, and we became the best of friends. They kind of adopted me. She didn't know how to drive. I didn't know how to drive. She didn't know how to swim. I didn't know how to swim. I didn't know how to sew. I didn't know how to cook. I didn't know how to do grocery shopping. We did everything together. And we were in Salt Lake City, and I only had my Indian clothes. So every time we went down Main Street in Salt Lake, I would be in my Indian outfits. And people would stop me. In 1971, there were not that many Indians in Salt Lake. And so they would stop me and ask me, where am I from? Am I a gypsy? Am I a fortune teller? I'm a belly dancer. I'm vegetarian. How do I get my protein? You poor little thing. How can you speak English so well? And I would explain and talk to them. And that was the beginning in 1971 that I started sharing my culture, my country, the language, the dress, the food with teachers who were teaching social studies in India, with the Rotary clubs, with the churches. Anyone who wanted to know about India, I would take my carousel of slides and I would take a sari and go and visit and talk and share. And that is something I have loved to do, because I think when you meet somebody from a different country and you are able to talk one-on-one, you realize that there are so many similarities and so much to learn, rather than getting all that from the news or the television. So I have loved doing that, and I still continue to do that, and I'm loving it and loving being in America and being an American. So thank you and namaste.